materials that you'll need to make this pattern, and the link is in the description box to the digital pattern and the website that I use to help me make my garments. Place the pocket flaps pretty sides together, pin and sew along the sides and bottom edges. Your pocket should look something like this, and you're going to turn it inside out and press the flap to keep everything in place.
I need to place the pocket flap. I'm gonna place it right here, basically where the Move Trillium pattern words are.
I folded in the top edge of the pocket flap to make it look better. I used pins to keep it in place, pressed it with an iron, and it looked like this. And now I'm going to pin it to the jacket and sew it in place. Fold and press the side and bottom edges of the pocket. So to form the pocket, I decided to draw a little diagram to demonstrate how it is. So this square is my pocket, and these 4 notches at the top and bottom are the notches that should be on your pocket. You want to take the inner notch at the tops and bottoms and bring it over to the outer notch. I used clips to keep it in place and pinned it down. Then I placed my pocket on my shirt right under my pocket flap, pinned that in place, and sewed it. Take the inner edges of the shirt and fold it over, press it, and pin it down to form your button placket. I pleated my jacket back similar to how I pleated the pockets. Press that in place, and next I attach my yoke to my jacket back. I should have attached both yoke pieces in one, but I wasn't thinking. Anyway, after you attach both of your yoke pieces, it'll look like this, and I'm going to do a top stitch to keep that seam allowance in place. Here are my 2 front jacket pieces that I'll be attaching to the back of my jacket. Pin and sew along the shoulder and side seams. I use French seams to attach my jacket front to my jacket back, so you could look up a YouTube video if you want yours to look like this. I decided I wanted short sleeves on my top, so from the top of the upper sleeve to the bottom of the upper sleeve, it measured about 15 inches, and I cut off the extra fabric that came from the original upper sleeve length.
So the problem that I have right now is the sleeve cap is too big for the armhole on the shirt. So I am going to sew a basting stitch from these 2 markings to this marking to gather the sleeve cap so it can fit into the armhole. And when I do this, I'm gonna make sure that my basting stitch is smaller than the 1/2 inch seam allowance I'm gonna use when I sew the sleeve onto the armhole.
I gathered this sleeve and pinned it into the armhole, and this is what it looks like. It does have a bit of ruffling and gather, and that's just something I'll have to work on in the future. For the sleeve cuff, because I shortened my sleeve, I used 2 pieces of fabric to make one sleeve cuff, and I had to cut 2 extra pieces of fabric to make the other sleeve cuff. After I had my sleeve cuff made, I decided to take off another 3 inches of my sleeve and attach my sleeve cuff at that 3-inch mark, just cutting off the excess fabric that you see underneath of it. This is what it looks like, and I used a slip stitch to hide the raw edge of my sleeves. I pinned and sewed my jacket collar to my shirt, and then pinned and sewed the other jacket collar piece to the jacket collar piece, sewing at the top and 2 side edges, leaving that bottom edge unattached. I'm going to go ahead and use a slip stitch to attach the piece that is open and not attached. I don't have the footage of me attaching the buttons because I originally decided that I was not going to. I did only attach 4 of the 8 buttons though. I attached my invisible zipper. I don't have a great method for doing an invisible zipper just yet, so once I find one that's better than what I have now, maybe I'll make a video showing how I actually attach the invisible zipper. Sew the front and back panels of your shorts together and then form the darts and pleats by pressing them into place. I formed my pockets on the shorts similarly to how I formed the pockets on the shirt. I hemmed the shorts off camera, and here are the final results.